will aid Wales in any way in this qualification, but it will aid their growth from this point, and perhaps, Chris, give them belief from this point as well.
Yeah, like I said, we've got to go into the game with no fear. Simple as that. It's just all the pressure's on England. All we have to do is, if we can, it's going to be difficult, keep a clean sheet for as long as we can. Ask them questions. We've got to keep the tempo high, I think. We can't sit back and let them come on to us because they'll rip us apart. We've got to get stuck in, play high up the pitch, get bodies forward in the last third, give Hartson and Giggsy lots of service, ask them questions, make them make mistakes, and keep this crowd excited.
9 points from 3 games for Sven-Göran Eriksson. Jamie, will he get the first of the 9 here? Well, 3 of the 9 here today?
I believe so. I think we have too much quality, especially at the top half of the pitch. It's going to be a really big day for likes of Page and Gabbidon at the back, and just whether they can keep Shaun Wright-Phillips, Ashley Cole. You've got David Beckham, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard.
Big day for Luke Young, isn't it, by the way?
It's a big day for Luke Young. I'm delighted for him. He's had a great start with Charlton. They've won 3 out of 3. I'm delighted for him. He's been playing in good form. It's never easy because Gary Neville, week in, game out for England, has been excellent. So it's a big day for Luke. But I'm sure the way he plays, he's a good footballer. Doesn't make many mistakes. I'm sure he'll be fine today.
And he's got 5 years in the Premiership experience, playing in big games
he knows what
against good players. He'll be okay, I'm sure.
Well, as is always the case when we're watching Wales play football, if you wish to listen to Welsh language commentary this afternoon, push the red button on your remote control. That's where you'll be able to hear from Kieron Roberts, the former Norwich striker, and Bryn Thomas. For the rest of us, our commentary team this afternoon, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. I think the build-up for this game, Andy, began virtually when the draw was made. And finally, after all the waiting, here we are. 60,000 Welshmen. Can they do enough to influence the result?
Well, they're certainly trying so far. The last 20 minutes or so in this ground has been quite amazing, the atmosphere. And I've been in here for cup finals and other games with you, but I haven't ever tasted it quite like this, Martin. They're really, really up for it. But the flip side of that is England score in the first 5 minutes. This is a different stadium.
And on the subject of the teams, through injury, suspension and straight selection, only 4 of this Wales side survived from the team that lost at Old Trafford back in October. Defender Danny Gabbidon, who's moved to West Ham recently. Simon Davies, who was an emergency right back in Manchester, but he's in his preferred midfield position now. And the 2 senior members of the side, Celtic's John Hartson and the captain Ryan Giggs. John Toshack, looking to develop a side for the next European Championships, includes Richard Duffy, who's currently with Coventry, David Partridge of Bristol City, and Swansea's Sam Ricketts, who have just 8 caps between them. England were understandably miffed that their plans became public on Wednesday, and by the suggestion that the manager's hand was forced by a group of senior players. In terms of personnel, 3 regulars missing in Gary Neville and John Terry, both injured, and the banned Michael Owen. In come Charlton's Luke Young, Jaime Carragher, and Shaun Wright-Phillips, who, because of the change in system, gets the Owen vacancy.
Well, John Toshack just picked a side that when you look at it on paper, right down the middle, it's got a pretty strong spine. 2 areas that would worry me enormously if I was Welsh would be the 2 full-back areas. Richard Duffy at 20, Sam Ricketts at 23, very inexperienced. I think England might target those 2, double up on them and try and attack them down there. For England, been well documented, there's no surprises in that team. It's pretty much been what we thought from Monday or Tuesday of this week when they decided that they would go with this new system.
That was a surprise then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is a surprise to me to change it so late in the day. But I'm interested in 2 people, and the 2 main protagonists really. They're talking about Rooney and David Beckham, the England captain. Never seen him play there before, and I've never seen Wayne Rooney operate as a lone striker. So those are 2 areas of the park that, although they're really good footballers, well, they've got to be tested still.
Well, great friends and rival captains. Both have come a long way since they first met as wide-eyed youngsters at Manchester United. And given all the tension around the stadium, there doesn't seem to be too much between 2 old mates down there. But behind them, it might be a different story. The Wales players will be operating with the backing of the biggest crowd ever to watch an international between these 2 countries in the Principality. As for England, it's a mixture of the unknown and the familiar. Most of the players have taken part in big club games, many of them in this marvellous Millennium Stadium. But perhaps none of them will have dealt with such an intimidating atmosphere. That's a great setting. Wales can't qualify, but they can harm England's chances. There's been a lot of talk here about respecting the national anthem. It does belong to the entire United Kingdom, but I don't think that will carry very much weight on occasions like this one. Under 7,000 England fans here. Now, Hen, Vlad, Fern Hadai, land of my fathers. Definite edge here. Kick-off in Cardiff coming right up. We'll be right back.
And the road to Germany continues through Cardiff this afternoon. Our World Cup football is Wales against England, live here on Sky Sports. Commentators Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
It's the 99th meeting. Wales have won only 14. The 49th in Wales. And the first for 21 years, Wales have won only 6. But this group of England players has acquired a reputation for responding very positively to criticism, and there's been plenty of that, Andy, since the result in Copenhagen, England's worst defeat since they lost 4-1 in Wales 25 years ago.
I think there was an awful lot made about that, and I think the time for all that talking is just about to end. Actions are what the England manager will be demanding today.
It's a very warm day, and this stadium tends to retain the heat. And here's Shaun Wright-Phillips trying to give Wales a hot beginning with England's first attack.
Nearly. I tell you, if they'd have gotten control of that, it might have been different. This is a super ball from Rooney. Just drifting off the back three there. Can't give that boy that much space. If they'd have got decent control of that, or hit it first time, it just might have been the perfect start for England. I just think those wide areas might just be key. I think Ashley Cole and Luke Young might just get as much of the ball as they want, like this, in good areas with plenty of grass. And if England want to go from these situations and change the play, then they should be able to get the other full-back out, and that means Wales are going to work extremely hard to stop this.
Ashley Cole, 80s Frank Lampard, Jaime Carragher lining up on the left of Rio Ferdinand, as he did for the second half in Denmark. And it all went wrong for England, and David Beckham was actually accused by Sven-Göran Eriksson of straying too much from the right-hand side. Well, maybe have come up between them with the solution to that. He's obviously starting in the middle. Ashley Cole knows more than most about this stadium, certainly in the England ranks, and more than some of the Welsh lads as well.
That's the ball I'm talking about. That's the play. I feel sure England must have worked on that.
Young's cross. Rooney trying to get there. In fact, Joe Cole does get there, and he was trying to get some extra power into that header. Couldn't get the accuracy.
Well, I'm not down there, but I'm surprised he didn't let it drop. I think he had more time than he thought, but this is a tactic England are going to use, and Wales are going to have to come up with a way of stopping it. But as this drops here, it goes very early, but there's no one really pressing him. Maybe he would have got closed down. And that's two little half chances that England have created in the opening 2 minutes.
Danny Coyne is the Wales' first choice goalkeeper now, since John Toshack took over from Mark Hughes. Carragher. Wales had a dreadful start at Old Trafford 11 months ago. An injury in the warm-up meant very late changes to 3 positions in the team, including Simon Davies having to move from midfield to right back, and then they were a goal down in 4 minutes. They didn't even play with the pride and the passion that one's come to expect of Wales teams.
I think that's a criticism levelled at the Welsh side. They won't get that today, I feel sure of that, but not the fact that they lost Wales at Old Trafford. The manner of defeat was hard to swallow for Welsh fans. No passion, no pride almost.
And John Toshack is trying to develop through a group of younger players. It's not easy to experiment for a match of this magnitude. Gabbidon certainly one for the future as well as the present. Ashley Cole, believe it or not, has played 9 times here for Arsenal. It's certainly a second home for him. Lampard, Rooney, and this kick by Joe Cole. The pitch certainly isn't pristine.
No, it's not.
It's going to be taken up after this game is finished. Gerrard. And Robert Page, one of John Toshack's back 3.
Now, as much as they made of it, maybe England would be nervous, but I think at the beginning of this match, I think rightly, it's the Welsh players that are a tad nervous, tad anxious.
Deep ball from Steven Gerrard, looking for Shaun Wright-Phillips. Wright-Phillips was very nervous when he made his debut in that friendly earlier in the year against Holland, his full debut. But he caught Sven-Göran Eriksson's eye certainly last Saturday when he was an excellent substitute in Chelsea's win at Tottenham. It may be the match that cost Jermain Defoe his chance of playing in this team. Coyne now plays for Burnley, where he wasn't even an automatic choice for his club at the start of the season, but he's back in Steve Cottrell's team now. Ashley Cole's header, and Page. Gabbidon getting in quickly. Hartson will fight for everything in the air. It's well judged by Carragher. Collected here by Duffy. Into Hartson's feet. It's Beckham who gets the tackle in. And Joe Cole who can bring it to some sort of safety for England and try and do more than that, but Page intercepts. Hartson's had a very good beginning to his campaign in Scotland with Celtic, a goal a game in the first 7. And he's in much better shape physically than he was when he took on England, or tried to take on England at Old Trafford in October of last year.
But you won't mind seeing him, if you're an England fan, over in the touchline out there 40 yards from goal. He's never going to turn away from Carragher or Ferdinand and outrun them, that's for sure. Happy to see him there with Sven-Göran Eriksson. His threat will be anything coming into the box, in and around it, holding it, making a chance. That's what Wales are looking for from Big John.
And Hartson able to knock it down, not with any great control, because Wright-Phillips will get there and just shepherd it out for an England throw. It's Hartson the main man, Giggs supporting him. Simon Davies, probably the midfield three, will be the most likely to get into attacking positions. That's the sort of thing they've got to worry about. Ryan Giggs making a challenge on Beckham there to suggest that maybe that will be part of his role today. Rooney turning and not really closed down, using the space to pick out Wright-Phillips. A comfortable catch for Coyne.
Yeah, the lads were talking in the studio. If David Beckham gets the ball, he's allowed to get his head up, pick his passes, he might get harmed, and which of the midfield three would actually take him. But I think you're right. I think if anyone's going to be asked to look after David Beckham when Wales lose the ball, it will be Ryan Giggs, just dropping off the front.
But now he's trying to react to perhaps the main part of his job, to read the knockdowns from Hartson. He wasn't far away. Well, Luke Young, with less than 20 minutes England experience before today. It's a compliment to him and to Charlton Athletic. He's got the vote when Gary Neville had to pull out. He does possess quite a decent throw as well. Whether England have worked on utilising it, maybe we're about to see. Lampard who comes to it, and if there was any rehearsal, didn't really show.
There's no real point in tossing it in there. We've only got really Wayne Rooney as a target.
It's 50 years since Wales last beat England in Cardiff. Giggs from Cardiff. One of the great myths that he turned down England to play for Wales. He was never qualified for England. Born in Cardiff, Welsh parents, Welsh extended family. And of course he played for England schoolboys because he went to school in England. Doesn't qualify you to play for the national team. Yeah, it's an urban myth in football terms. Here's Sam Ricketts, who was born in England, but qualifies on his mother's side, play for Wales. Giggs jumping, beaten by Carragher, corrected by Simon Davies, who's had some shin problems. Was determined to get himself right to play in this game. It's a manageable injury, is how he described it to me. Here's Carl Fletcher to Hartson. Giggs trying to get it wide to Duffy, who's a Coventry player at the moment on loan from Portsmouth. Duffy, it's his second cap, and he did very well in his first last month against Slovenia when Wales drew 0-0 in Swansea. Partridge with a header.
It's Wales' interest, if they can, to make England play it as long as possible. When you look at the three targets, Cole, Rooney, Wright-Phillips, not exactly towering in the air, but England will want to work the ball around the ground. They'll have to be patient, feed it in, get it, cross the pitch, back again, probe for that opening.
Ferdinand. Nice touch by Wright-Phillips. Taken on by Luke Young, who claims he was being bought there. The officials, incidentally, all from Russia. Valentin Ivanov is the referee. Ferdinand. Young. Ferdinand's caught upfield. Can Wales exploit that? Ryan Giggs has got a long, long way to run. He's doing his best. Beckham came across, and I think it's fair to say unhinged Ryan Giggs' attempts to carry on, but not in a manner that caught the eye of the referee.
He might have got a free kick, I would say that. I think he was looking for it, Ryan. He knew he had very little support.
Gerrard. With Beckham, who would be out of the Northern Ireland game on Wednesday should he pick up another yellow card today. It would be his 4th in the group, and of course he was suspended after the home game against Wales. Controversial circumstances. Here's Joe Cole. Behind Rooney there is no one, because Joe Cole, in the shape of things, would have been that player. Carl Robinson of Sunderland. Can't keep it. Just feel amongst the large contingent of Welsh fans, there's a little bit of apprehension. England are having plenty of the ball here. Gerrard, Rooney. Big cheer for Gabbidon's challenge.
Well, Wales have got plenty of players, although they haven't ahead of the player in the top half of the pitch. They've got plenty behind the ball. That's the thing, it's making it difficult for England in and around the edge of the box.
Wright-Phillips. Ferdinand. Beckham coming further forward. Work it wide to Luke Young again. And Duffy will want to let this run if he can, and he can.
Doesn't look old enough, does he? Richard Duffy.
He's only 20. A passing resemblance to Mark Delaney, who's one of the Wales players who's now injured.
I think part of this game set already. You can't see any real change in that. Feel sure England will continue to dominate the ball.
Well, I don't know whether John Toshack was of a mind to fully believe all that was coming out of the England camp through the newspapers in midweek. He certainly, apart from really dropping Giggs in around Beckham, hasn't made too many changes. He likes to play with 3 at the back, which can, of course, go to 5 quite easily.
Well, it's 5 at the moment, and it has been pretty much since the whistle blew. It's because of the pressure that they're under.
Beckham. Touchdown to Gerrard by Rooney. Step overs typically from Joe Cole. Wales held their line well enough, and it would have been unlikely for Shaun Wright-Phillips to head England into the lead. Dave Partridge, who was in the same West Ham youth team as Rio Ferdinand and Frank Lampard, had to go into Scottish football to really build his career, though. Now he's playing in England with Bristol City. Back header by Giggs. Hartson using his strength. Giggs again. Chance maybe to involve Ricketts down the left-hand side, but he looks instead for the head of Hartson. Comes out to Duffy, who nearly scored on his debut against Slovenia with a wonderful left-footed shot. And back by Partridge. Hartson is the target again. Robinson trying to get there. It's an easy header away from Ferdinand. A bit of a giveaway by Lampard. And here is Ricketts. Now Swansea. Robinson tried the dummy.
It's unlucky. Just the toe of Rio Ferdinand just intercepted that. We needed that little bit of play, Wales.
Yeah. Got the photo of Philip Neville for the right back job. It's perhaps the last decision that Sven-Göran and Eriksson really made about this team. Ferdinand. And we'll get time on the ball at the back. Moving towards a bit more traffic now, but Rooney decided to have a crack from distance. Maybe Lampard will do the same, and he does!
Well, that's close. Beautifully struck. It just shows you if your technique's good, you don't need a run at the ball, do you? Because he just controls this and hits it. This is a lovely block, right in tube. Watch this. It's control, half a step and it beautifully struck. And you always know if a goalkeeper's flying across his goal that he's worried, he's anxious, and he had every right to be.
It was Frank Lampard who fired England into that early lead against Wales at Old Trafford last year. A goal he had to fight for in the end because there was a minuscule touch off Michael Owen. But certainly had Michael, like the true striker he is, interested in claiming it. Beckham not closed down at all this time, and it is giving him an opportunity to show his passing range. Handball by Hartson. Young, and along with Paul Robinson, is a debutant in this stadium. Rooney, of course, was here in May for the cup final. Now Simon Davies.
He doesn't often play it blind, Wayne Rooney, but I think he did then. I just thought if he'd back to defender at the penalty area, would have taken him on.
Giggs. A little bit of a hurry to release it, and it's a mistake by Carragher, and Simon Davies tries to come up with something even better than Lampard.
The hand goes out from Jaime Carragher, an apology. Doesn't need anyone to tell him he made a mistake. But this is what England are trying to do. They're trying to pass the ball about, but there are times when you don't, and there are times when you shouldn't. It's just a poor ball.
Simon Davies now of Everton, given the ball by Jaime Carragher. Long time at Liverpool. There's a lot of Liverpool involvement in this match, particularly on the sidelines. With John Toshack supported by Roy Evans, the former Liverpool manager. England, of course, have Ray Clements, the goalkeeping coach, Sammy Lee. And knowledge from that old Anfield boot room. Used by two neighbouring countries. Brought together again at last. Whole generation. Wayne Rooney wasn't even born the last time England played in Wales. Gerrard, on the subject of Liverpool. Beckham. Now Lampard. Gerrard, Rooney. Looking for Steven Gerrard. Gabbidon just got a little bit of the ball. Rooney doesn't think so.
I don't think so either. I think his studs hit the ground though. I thought he missed the ball totally, but whether it's he's catching Steven Gerrard or whether his studs are just getting caught in the grass here, it's a lovely piece of interplay. He looks to play the ball, misses it totally. Yeah. The referee just... I don't think he's going for Steven Gerrard. I think he misses the ball. It's as simple as that.
But he was worried for a second, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It's unlike Danny Gabbidon, who's come through Welsh football, of course, with Cardiff City.
But that's what he's there for, that little sort of play, that interplay, because he's quick, he's got pace. There you go, that's the first foul of the day, can you believe that? 20th minute, apart from Hartson's handball, there hasn't been player against player, free kick given yet, till then.
The two teams showing a bit more respect for each other than the supporters did for each other's national anthems. Partridge did well, he knew where both the ball was, and Shaun Wright-Phillips. Sam Ricketts, who grew up in a show jumping family, his father Derek is still involved with the Great Britain show jumping team.
Turned the wrong way. Carl Fletcher has turned into Shaun Wright-Phillips.
Ashley Cole. And Giggs belatedly getting back to Beckham, who had a pretty free pass to Joe Cole. Certainly mixing it up a little bit in midfield, but it's not really working in that attack. Robinson, Davies. Giggs is the furthest forward this time. That was for the first time in the match. Wales caught in possession with Gabbidon. Gerrard and Rooney have picked their passes, and a good stay by Coyne. It comes out to Wright-Phillips. And Coyne is back again. The goalkeeper who made that terrible mistake, the cross defeat in Austria, has come up with a double stop here.
Well, I talk about defenders realising when to pass and when to play, but from there it's just super play. I'm just amazed that Rooney hasn't scored. A little dink was on. Goalkeeper's gone to ground. Super little play between Gerrard and Rooney. But England are in control of this game, as you'd expect. Opening quarter. Possession's been good.
Wales know that they've got to pick their moments, really.
Yeah, they have.
Headed out by Page. Duffy. Nicely into the feet of Giggs. Carragher and Lampard between them, making it uncomfortable for the Welsh captain. Rooney. Ashley Cole. It's always the full-back on either side. Giggs finally getting in the way, having lost possession, and now he's got to defend again because almost ricocheted to his clubmate Wayne Rooney. The first quarter of the match, Rooney had a wonderful chance to give England the lead, but it was an opening that came initially from a Wales mistake. Like Wales's best effort so far from Simon Davies, but it was from distance after a miscued Carragher clearance. Good work by Ricketts. Oh, well, he looked up and he was thinking of what we might call a Dennis Bergkamp moment.
Yeah. Well, the first bit was very good, the second less so. But in all honesty, he looked in there, and apart from John Hartson and Simon Davies had absolutely no support. I looked at the edge of the box. Was there a red shirt supporting him? No, too far away. And that's the problem the Welsh have got. It's how you get men in advanced positions without leaving yourself exposed at the back.
Wales, we shouldn't forget, are ranked 83 in the world. And Joe Cole has the sting taken out of the shot by Page's block. England ranked 7th, but that list was compiled before the 4-1 defeat in Denmark. Puts them currently the 3rd highest European nation behind Holland and the Czech Republic.
It's going to be a long day for Wales, and I'll tell you what, they are going to be absolutely shattered the longer this game comes on, because England are working them about the pitch and they're having to work extremely hard. If you don't have possession of the ball at this level, you'll be amazed how you can be worked across the pitch, and that's what England are doing to Wales. Working at the fitness, working at their discipline, their concentration, all of those things that are affected with tiredness.
Page. So Toshack had to wait for his players to get through the bank holiday weekend. A lot of the team played on Monday.
A little example there, you see it. Massive possession for England, double what the Welsh have.
John Toshack has had a really good view of the confrontation here. Carragher and Duffy.
Well, I have to say, I think that's a pretty honest, solid challenge. I don't know whether Ryan Giggs is complaining about a free kick he might have had earlier or whatever, but didn't look an awful lot wrong with that. It was two guys going for the ball and both getting to it. But this is a hero at the moment. The villain last time out against Austria, as you said. And after, I don't know what Danny Gabbidon is thinking he's doing. You do not do that when you're being surrounded. And they worked a beautiful 1-2. Little dink over the legs, is going to score. Sees this one all the way, that's comfortable. But the first save's an absolute gem. How big might this be for Wales today?
9 previous caps spread over 9 years. Perennial backup. He's got the job now, and saves like that, he'll keep it.
And they're just working it a little bit at this near side with Ricketts and Partridge. Ricketts is playing slightly ahead now, and Partridge is the one who's looking after Shaun Wright-Phillips. And I think that's trying to stop England do that crossfield pass.
Gerrard. Wright-Phillips is away from both of them, and he slipped as he hit it, and then that's catching practice for Danny Coyne. Duffy. Fletcher, who hasn't got near the West Ham starting lineup since they got into the Premiership via, of course, the Millennium Stadium in the playoff. Robinson. They're going to make a little bit more of that type of possession.
That was just wasteful. First time they had support, they had numbers forward.
Certainly the weather, and it was very cloudy this morning. It's been a beautiful week in South Wales, perfect really for the last few days of the school holidays. And it's not a great day on which to play international football. Page.
They'll take that, Wales, that's what I'm saying about they want, that's what they'll try and get England to do. It's a ball that John Toshack will say, well, my centre-half should win that.
Davies and Hartson, the key figures in Mark Hughes' Welsh team. Had a great run of 10 internationals unbeaten, but those days have been rather blown away. Wales still without a win in their group, just 2 draws. They've lost the last 4. England have only, of course, dropped 2 points, having lost that 2-0 lead in Austria in a match that they should have won. But now Giggs.
And the side flag was up there against Robinson. Had good options. Well, I say good options, 2 options. The ball he chose, and look at Hartson as he's knocked this down. He did his job, but he's then just going to try and engage Ashley Cole. And I'm just surprised that that ball wasn't tossed in. Hartson against Cole. You have to fancy it.
Well, Giggs has been out of action at the start of the season with a chest infection. Wales fans always pleased when he does come to play for the country. 51 caps in 14 years. Tells you he's missed a few. Well judged by Ferdinand against Giggs. Partridge, as you say, is almost at times becoming a left-back, Andy, isn't he?
I think John Toshack obviously knows football, and he's recognised that if he kept the system the way it was, they were going to be running about, chasing that ball most of the game. So they've tried to do that and say to Simon Davies, well, if it starts to come across the pitch, you've got to be the one that gets close to Ashley Cole.
Beckham's interception, Rooney's footwork. Ashley Cole offering support, gives it back to Rooney. For a little clip when a shot could have possibly been on. Luke Young wins it back for the visiting nation. Ashley Cole. And Lampard, so dangerous on the edge of the area. Ashley Cole hasn't scored a goal for England. Not officially, did score in a penalty shootout, and of course scored in this stadium in a penalty shootout in the FA Cup final.
Well, might have been a free kick there. Frank Lampard, ball bounces up, studs come up, but nothing given. He'll be fairly happy, I think. He'll be happy with his team's possession. He'll be happy that they've created a golden opportunity, but he'll just be getting a little anxious that it's still 0-0.
Of course, his reputation really with England has come from these qualifying games, hasn't he? England undefeated in that respect under Sven-Göran Eriksson. Here's Duffy able to get forward, and Beckham has to really boot it behind for a corner.
Lack of communication between Cole and Carragher. Half an hour in their first corner of the match. And this is what, if you were Wales, you'd play for, wouldn't you? You'd play for set plays. It gives you an opportunity to get centre-backs up. It gives you the opportunity to support John Hartson. And this is where it's all important when you do that, and they're few and far between. But the quality coming in has to be good.
England haven't defended set plays particularly well. And they're struggling here.
That's a chance, isn't it?
For Duffy as it dropped.
Well, they weren't totally convincing in defending this one. Don't do a great job of clearing that. I think he just loses his standing foot here. Just gets away from him. You watch his left foot. Just gets away from him and just leaning back as well. What a story that would have been.
He's a Swansea boy. He started at Swansea City. Portsmouth took him and did make one Premiership appearance as a substitute, but he's now trying to cut his teeth with Coventry on loan. Young. Seen off by Gabbidon. Shaun Wright-Phillips. Just the start of wonderful days of international football with Scotland against Italy at 5:15 on Sky Sports 1, so stay with us, same channel. And then a vital match in the same group as Wales and England, Poland against Austria. We start at 7:30 again, Sky Sports 1.
I just noticed Steve McLaren out, and I wondered how long it would take, because much of the criticism that England faced against Denmark and David Beckham was how they were narrow in the midfield on the right-hand side. And for about the last 10 minutes, Shaun Wright-Phillips has been anything but on the right-hand side, and Steve McLaren's just got out and he's just been indicating to widen it. Get yourself wider.
Steve McLaren with Sammy Lee there. Ferdinand. Contingent in the stadium tried to sing. They've been whistled and drowned out. Here's Rooney. Might get them cheering though. Page heads out. Robinson trying to get there. That's Carl Robinson. We haven't had cause to mention Paul Robinson yet in the England goal. Here's Gerrard. It's a holding operation for Wales, and the longer it goes on, the happier they'll be. And the more frustrating it will be for England. Rooney. Gerrard. Now Luke Young. Ferdinand is there to back him up. Wales is saying, well, you can have it. Yeah. You know, we'll pick it off when you finally play it into an area that might hurt us. So Ricketts tried to do them, but he lost out to Young, who's got wrong side of him from Wales' point of view. But Partridge got something on the cross for Ricketts' relief.
Well, it's a tactic against defence for the vast majority of this half. Wales getting bodies in the way.
Beckham. Ashley Cole's touch took him into trouble in the shape of Duffy. Now Davies. There's one for Giggs to chase here. Ferdinand drawn across. Simon Davies has gone on into the centre. Hartson, of course, is there. How can Giggs get a deep cross towards John Hartson? A very good touch by Ashley Cole. Hartson's eyes were lighting up.
Well, I'll tell you what, another foot of height on that. Another yard of distance. And you just feel sure he certainly would have worked the goalkeeper from 7 yards out. Ashley Cole's done a great job. Because he must know he's going to get clobbered. But that's what you work for. That's what Wales would have worked for. That combination. Hartson against Cole.
John Toshack is a foxy coach. He's worked all over Europe, 6 different countries. And I must say, when it comes to a tactical battle, he's one that relishes it. Trying to draw England's sting here, really.
Well, frustrate them, Martin. I mean, whose priority is it to win the game today? England. I mean, I think anything other than 3 points is a poor result for England. They need to win the game. John Toshack knows that. He's picked a side that's fairly defensive. How long he'll be thinking will it be before England get anxious, start tossing it in there, get frustrated, get nervy themselves? Certainly not now, not at the moment. But if Wales can get to half-time at 0-0, who knows?
Page. Diggs calling for it from Gabbidon. Well judged header by Carragher. And what about the England system, Mr. Gray?
I think it's done all right. I mean, if you're asking me, would an England playing with 4 across the middle and with Rooney off a front man, would it have been any better or worse? I don't think it would have been. It might have got them a goal. It's done all right, though.
Diggs flying in.
I mean, I'll ask you then, David Beckham, contribution?
Knocked 1 or 2 forward, hasn't he? Nothing startling, though.
Yeah, anything that Jaime Carragher or Rio Ferdinand couldn't have done.
Okay.
You know, 7 attempts is good, but you'd expect that. You know, you are talking about a major nation here in England playing against a team who are really going through transition. Whole period, got a lot of young kids in the field as well, and who really don't expect an awful lot. Have 2 points in the section. I'd expect England to have 7 attempts. They'd be disappointed if they hadn't.
Fletcher's tackle on Gerrard.
But in the end, Eriksson will be judged on the goals his team do or don't get today.
Last time England played in Cardiff, 1982, they won 1-0, and that would do.
Yeah.
And goal from a colleague now of ours, Trevor Francis. Of course, that was played at Ninian Park. It's Beckham's perhaps best attempt at a real cutting edge of a pass. And he gets Shaun Wright-Phillips in behind, a little nod of approval about the run.
You know, you look at the players that are around, though. 2 red shirts and a goalkeeper. He's asking a lot.
Hartson's header. Given away by Young. Giggs. Then Hartson calling for it in the middle, arm raised. And he gets there, John Hartson, terrific stop. Now Paul Robinson's had absolutely nothing to do. And that's a save of real elasticity.
That is an absolute top draw save. The Carragher and Cole change here because they've got time, but it doesn't matter to Hartson. I'm telling you something. Open the drawer, top one in your wardrobe and stick that in it. That is a brilliant save. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, John Hartson careering off after that has earned himself a yellow card and a suspension.
I really can't tell. This is a tackle. Hartson, great head, and then comes in a little late. Yeah, you're not going to get away with that against the foreign referee in charge. A yellow card for that.
And he can't play in Poland on Wednesday, which is perhaps it's bad news for Wales, but it might be bad news for England as well, because obviously a good Wales performance in Poland, a good result for Wales in Poland, will help England's chances of topping the group.
Well, we're 0-0 here, but apart from 2 very good, well, 1 good save, I would say, from Danny Coyne, and an absolutely brilliant save from Paul Robinson, it might not be.
Well, it was a header that had goal written all over it from John Hartson. That's how he earns his living. But that's how Paul Robinson earns his. At the top of his trade, there's been talk about England developing a new out-and-out number 1. I think they found one. Well, here's Ashley Cole. Joe Cole. Lampard. Inside the last 5 minutes of the first half. Young. 20 forward for England. 20 back for Wales. That's a little thumbnail sketch, really, of much of this first half. Excluding the moment of the half from England's goalkeeper Paul Robinson, aided by that terrific Hartson header. Gerrard, Rooney, Wright-Phillips. Flag was a little on the low side.
That's close for me. I wondered about Robert Page had he dropped in. It was amazing how when the arms go up, how the flag twitches. And he's just off. Just.
But it is Wales 0, England 0, and Andy, you're absolutely right. The draw for England in these circumstances will not be seen as anything more than a disaster, really. I mean, obviously Poland play later on tonight, but they are at home to Austria. They've got Wales to play at home as well, so they'll be looking at 6 points. And they've played a game more.
Well, I think Sven-Göran Eriksson thinks they'll get 6 out of 6. That's why he's already quoted as saying that only 9 out of 9 will mean that England will go into that final game on top.
And just for the record, in a position where both countries might virtually have qualified because of the best second place. A couple of those will go through automatically. And if Poland and England keep winning, the final match in Manchester could be academic.
The referee won't be too happy with this. That's about 4 times they've tossed it to a different player. They're looking for half-time. Looking for a rest.
England looking for a goal before half-time with Gerrard. Gabbidon is the extra man. One or two Wales players stopped as well, thinking that there's a free kick going to be given in England's favour then, but the Russian referee didn't see it that way. Ferdinand. Not too much of a hurry, but he was able to pick himself up. And Lampard turns Gabbidon. It's a challenge by Fletcher, and Gabbidon clears.
That type of thing's not good enough, but I guess with 90 seconds left, those will feel that they can soak it up, but it only takes a second to score a goal.
And a Beckham pass to Shaun Wright-Phillips, and Lampard arriving. Just certainly took a final touch off for Gabbidon. Might have been heading for a corner in any case.
Well, not so much how much Fletcher gets on this, but this is what I mean about taking a second. And I think if Lampard can get his right foot on this, he scores. But he looks to open his body up with his left.
Last knocking to the first half. Beckham with the corner. And Carl Fletcher heads out. Wales try and push out. There's good work by Young, and then Beckham and Joe Cole with a really good opportunity in the 45th minute.
That's a great chance. What a ball this is from Beckham. One touch, and watch this, outside the right foot. Joe Cole takes a chance on this. Well, he should score. Well, maybe he should hit the target. And the only way you don't score is if your keeper does this. Because that is absolutely magnificent. Just gets better every time you see it. Well, I think that Sven-Göran Eriksson, I feel England might well be up by now. The Rooney chance, Joe Cole's there. 2 unbelievable chances at this level England have not taken.
Well, much has been said about the friendlies and England's approach to them, or lack of approach to them. But we are in the results business in the World Cup qualifying groups. So 1 minute of added time. England would look at the way the first half has shaped up and say, well, the system has worked okay because there have been chances to be in front. And nonetheless, Wales will still be ruining Robinson's agility. Paul Robinson, that is. One really big moment. And the half hasn't come to an end yet. It's a corner. a few seconds here before the half-time whistle. Beckham bent it in, Gabbidon gets ahead to it, and in the context of a World Cup qualifier, a truly world-class save by Paul Robinson of England from John Hartson of Wales. Wales have played a cagey game here. You might say they've been forced back a bit, and that would be true to some extent. John Toshack has put out a team here to try and frustrate the English in the Millennium Stadium, and he's done that so far with a little bit of luck, a bit of help from his own goalkeeper as well, and at half-time it's 0-0.
Bearing in mind the quality of that save, Wales will be disappointed to go in not a goal up. Jamie Redknapp and Chris Coleman with us this afternoon. We'll get their thoughts when we come back on a half which has yet to produce a goal, but has given us plenty to talk about. Remember, we're watching the first of 3 World Cup qualifiers on Sky Sports this afternoon. 5:15, Scotland play Italy, and following that it's back to Group 6 to watch Poland play Austria. That's at 7:30. Chris Coleman and Jamie Redknapp are with us here this afternoon. Perhaps difficult to justify on the basis of the possession, Chris, but should you be a goal up, thinking about Hartson's header?
Well, I think apart from when Rooney got through, a great save from Danny Coyne. What a header that is. A great cross from Giggsy. John's done everything right. He's headed it right down in the corner, as we can see here. Giggsy does great there. Pushes the defender back, doesn't have to take him on, gets himself half a yard. What a ball. John Hartson, perfect header, and that's the best save you see all season. It's a great save. That's a fantastic ball. John Hartson, that's in for me. As soon as it hits his head, it's in.
Yeah, I was standing next to you. I know you thought it was in. But is it a source of opportunity for Wales? Moments before that, Hartson was free again, wasn't he? And Giggs had crossed into the same situation. Yeah,
I think the 2 centre-backs for England at the minute are having a bit of a problem with big Harts. Certainly when he's got quality coming in like this, then he's going to get on the end of it. It doesn't matter what that's great defending actually by Ashley Cole. But you know Big John's going to attack that ball, and any defender there, when a cross comes in, even if he gets his head in it, he knows he's going to be challenged, and defenders don't like that. The English defenders won't want quality crosses coming in from Giggsy, who's floating on the left and the right. So we need to do more of that. We need to have a little bit more quality, I think, in the final third. It looks like we're getting there, and then we're getting a bit excited. We need a bit more quality. We've got the players to get that last pass off. We just need a bit more quality in that final third.
England will be looking back on opportunities for Rooney and Joe Cole late on, Jamie. Yeah. But other than that, has there been much to get excited about from their point of view?
I think it's a patience game now. I disagree with Chris. I think we've perhaps edged it on chances as well. I feel that obviously Rooney has a great chance. It was a tremendous bit of play actually from us. Gerrard, and he tries to be a bit clever, Gabbidon. Gerrard nicks it. Wayne Rooney plays a quick 1-2. Gerrard, as he goes to shoot, and he tries to do it with his eyes, Wayne Rooney, he tries to put it in the other corner, and Danny Coyne will be delighted with that. He's read it reasonably well. But that was a great bit of play. It was a great 1-2, and he thought that was going to be the opening goal. But I think Wales will be pleased. I mean, they've limited England's chances. Just at the end, I think David Beckham played a couple of great passes. We managed to get Shaun Wright-Phillips into the game.
And what about the ball that got Joe Cole free on the
this was the ball of the match. This was fantastic. It was a great. I think it come from our corner initially. The ball gets played out to David Beckham again, and he's hit that with a bit of slice on it. And that is just, it's so inviting for Joe, and unfortunately I think he took his eyes off it.
Should he do better then?
Oh, definitely. Should be a goal. It should be a goal.
Yeah, he'd be disappointed, Joe, there. I think he's a good enough player to do better there, but thankfully he didn't.
Can you keep this going though? Because presumably if England keep the ball in the manner they have been...
Well, exactly. We were just saying what England are trying to do is they're passing, they're very patient, they're switching play a lot, and eventually our boys' legs will go, because you can't do that amount of running for 90 minutes, it's impossible. What they're trying to do is get 2v1 in a wide area, and eventually they'll get it. I'd like to see us push our both wing backs further on, push their full backs back. We've still got 4v3 at the back, because Fletcher's sitting, Fletcher's sitting with 3 centre backs. Simon Davies and Gareth Roberts can push and help Hearts, and maybe get Giggsy to drop down and run off David Beckham, and I think that's where we'll create more problems for us.
It's fascinating. It's beautifully poised at the moment. Remember, for England, it's, from the manager's point of view, a must-win. Not much sign yet. Second half comes next. The road to Germany continues through Cardiff here this afternoon. A little later, we'll be watching Scotland play Italy, 5:15. It's also, of course, a World Cup qualifier after that. It's back to Group 6 when Poland play Austria. That's a 7:30 start. At half-time in Ireland, incidentally, Northern Ireland 0, Azerbaijan 0. Man in the shadows, Gary Speed, now retired, of course, just about to join the Golden Cap Club. That's for Welshmen with 50 caps or more. He is, as you saw, their most capped outfield player with 85. Also in that club, and standing away to his right, our left, Ian Rush, who won 73, and Andy Melville, who won 65. Most capped Welshman, Neville Southall, who got 92 caps. Chris Coleman and Jamie Redknapp are with us here this afternoon. Would you take the draw if I gave it to you now?
Yep, absolutely. I think we have frustrated England. They've had good possession, but we've managed to stop them playing through the middle of us, which is what they want to do, and they're very good at doing that, the plays they got on the pitch. We've got to try and keep Shaun out wide, I think, because once they keep switching play, I think our legs will go in the end. So I'll take a 0-0 now.
Where do England's goals, or does England's goal come from? Because that would be enough.
Patience, I said it before, I think that is the key today. I think Rooney, Gerrard bursting from midfield and joining him. Frank Lampard's been unlucky once or twice with a couple of half chances. He hit a great shot from about 25 yards. I just feel the patience will come and almost run the legs out of Wales. It's going to be really hard. The fullbacks, Ashley Cole's going to keep coming on, giving them a problem, and they've got to try and somehow combat him.
Will he change the system? Would he dare change the system now?
He would dare do it, I'm sure he would. But then it's... Jermain Defoe was a bit disappointed to get left out in the first place, and I'm sure he'll be desperate to get him. He's got a goal in him.
I think he's going to have to. If he keeps the longer it goes on 0-0, England need 3 points against us today. We'll be happy with 0-0, I think. Because the longer it goes on 0-0, we'll get half a chance, we'll get a goal. That'll be a disaster for England. So I think if we're 10-15 minutes in the second half, I think Sven will probably change it.
If he changes it, is it a positive move or an admission that he started?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a positive move. I think he'll look at it that the 60-70 minutes, as Chris said, I think England have been relatively in control, and he'll be looking to bring on Jermain Defoe and hopefully get that little bit of goal, that bit of magic, and that'll free Wayne Rooney up to come from a slightly deeper position. I'm sure he's... I don't think that would be an admission that he's not happy with the formation at all.
England are back. Wales, as you can see, are on their way back. No changes. Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thank you, Richard. How great England will be in the rest of this group will be decided within Britain. Cardiff here against Wales today. Belfast on Wednesday. And then 2 home games against Austria and Poland next month.
Often watched by thousands of people who could well do with the exercise. Well, I ask you...
Andy, we know what's in it for England today and what their target is. Just a word on Wales and John Toshack's team building on 45 minutes viewing.
Well organised, disciplined. I think they've worked extremely hard. When you think of the 2 wide areas, you've got a 20-year-old, a 23-year-old, 5 caps between them only. That's experience. And I think what he's trying to do is breed a new type of Wales. There are obviously players like Ryan who join Hartson in their 30s, but will be a valuable partner in the next 3 or 4 years for them, along with those youngsters.
The last player to score for Wales in a World Cup qualifier against England was John Toshack. That's down, of course, to the scarcity of meetings. It was at Wembley, and it was in a game that finished 1-1, and it contributed to England failing to qualify for the 1974 finals. John has been pointing out that the last time the 3 countries involving with Poland as well in the same section, it was Poland who went through and the other 2 didn't. So the history could repeat itself. It would need a strong showing from Wales in the second half to influence it against England, you feel, given the amount of possession that England had in the first 45 minutes. But they haven't got a goal to show for it. That remains the key.
You've got to expect that England will create at least another couple of good chances. And Wales is what it would be should England take one.
Maybe Wales will create another chance as well with the Giggs-Hartson combination. And the shooting of Davies.
He's a little too anxious to have a shot when he never really controlled the ball well enough. But a bright opening from the skipper. That left-hand side. Ryan Giggs of old here. Bobbing and weaving in. Always going to cause you a problem with his pace. No one goes near. Look at the 3 Welsh shots. All 3 of them decided to go middle goal and back. No one took a gamble near post.
Page, who's celebrating his 31st birthday today. A working day, that's for sure. Fletcher. Page. Davies' touch. Carl Fletcher again. And Partridge. To the head of Carl Robinson, is trying to guide it off to Sam Ricketts.
I just think that Eriksson will give it an hour. I think if it's 0-0, I think they'll be looking to make a change there. Whether it's just purely personnel or whether it is system. And if it is system, I don't think that's an admission of getting it wrong. It's an admission that you see it's not working today and it isn't right, and that's when you've got to change it. You've got to be big enough to say, oh, so, okay, it might not be working today, so let's change it back.
It's Ferdinand's ball to Shaun Wright-Phillips. Backed up by Gerrard. Young making a run inside the midfield player. Danny Coyne makes a charge off his line. Backed by a good shout for the ball, I'm sure.
Well, that's what the Welsh want to do. Chris Cromwell talked about wide areas. If England get the ball there, not too concerned. Concern would be if they work the ball. What they want them to do is what Steven Gerrard did then, try and attempt to cross. As I've said before, if you're a centre-back and you're against Wayne Rooney, you might get outskilled, but you should at least contest it in the air.
Giggs able to collect unchallenged, and suddenly Wales have got 5 players forward here. And hoping for the supply line from his skipper again. But as Wales do push on a little bit, the opportunity is there for Beckham's passing to open them up. Wright-Phillips and Joe Cole. It's a pretty hefty touch with his first contact with the ball. It's unlike Joe Cole. His technique is normally very good.
I think that's been symptomatic of his game, really. That sums up the performance he's had for me. He's just not quite been there, Joe. This little chance he's got, his touch should be more assured than this. He's got far more talent than to allow that to get away from him. And his header, end of the first half, a real glorious opportunity.
Partridge. Hartson gets in front of Ferdinand. And then lays it off well to Duffy. Davies wants it to feet. Duffy and Giggs to the right. But Ashley Cole, typically nimble, gets in. But how much in the end will England rue Michael Owen's yellow card that he couldn't play in this game? Stadium which has happy memories of that FA Cup final in 2001.
It does, I think they've got 40 minutes to win this match, and should they do so, then all the questions, all the doubts, and we'll feel have been answered.
Yeah. Gerrard for Wright-Phillips to strike it, and strike it well.
Nice football.
Straightforward save for Coyne, but one that had to be made.
Yeah, you always expect Shaun Wright-Phillips to be joining up there. Might have been going over. Might have been a little bit too much elevation in this, but as a goalkeeper, he's close to his line. The right thing is just to help it over.
5 minutes gone in the second half. And referee concerned about a bit of tangling between Carragher and Hartson. Ferdinand going towards the near post. Lampard behind him. Almost dropped for Gerrard. It might still drop for Gerrard. Held out by Fletcher, and Giggs has got nowhere to go but backwards.
Had to buy some time. Well played, Ryan Giggs.
Across the face of his own defending by Ricketts. He's lucky to get away with. Hartson, Simon Davies. The Millennium Stadium roar starting to build there as Wales look to build here.
Just got to put the brakes on a little. Lack of numbers again, but they have kept possession.
Partridge. That's the target, but not a very happy target, I don't think, on that occasion.
No, might have just kept that going wide to Ricketts, Partridge, but a little anxious.
Beckham. Flag has gone up. In the international arena, the assistants have been instructed to wait until the player gets a touch on the ball. You just wonder what would happen if the goalkeeper thought, well, the flag's not going up, flew out and collided with Shaun Wright-Phillips. Players can get injured.
Yeah, just a little early, but not much in that.
Wales are preparing their first change. Robinson lets it run. Hartson. And Davies. Carl Robinson, he spotted the run. It was a difficult ball.
No, he's still due as well, though.
He was apologising to everybody else. For some Ricketts crosses, England fortunately were concentrating from their point of view, and Simon Davies with that peripheral vision for which he is so famous.
We all thought he was looking forward there, and he wasn't. Looking for a square pass.
Ferdinand, Lampard. Again, this air of unease from the Welsh supporters, concerned that really England are having so much of the ball. But and it's quite different here, you sense, to the rugby internationals, where the pressure on the visiting nation seems to be kept on all the time. Maybe they have more confidence in their rugby team than their football team. Here's Wright-Phillips. Oh, and it's Joe Cole! England lead.
Well, if you continue to create, they were always going to take one. Suddenly it turns good for Joe Cole. I just wonder how much, if any, a little deflection played a part in this. Super ball from Beckham. He tried it moments earlier. He just repeats the dose. And this time, full marks. Lovely little ball in. There's a deflection again, much like the first goal at Old Trafford when Frank Lampard scored. It's not the best luck. Goalkeeper's got that covered. And off it comes off Gabbidon's head. Leaves him absolutely helpless. It's a little bit of luck England have been looking for.
And Jason Koumas has come on. He was waiting to come on at 0-0. He arrives at Wales 0, England 1. Ryan Giggs seems to be complaining about the ball. So here is Koumas, who's on loan here in Cardiff at Cardiff City from West Brom. He's replaced Carl Robinson. One midfield player for another. Koumas, who's a little bit unpredictable, but has creative ability. Hartson. Wales now need that. Maybe England were on the point of making a change, but
amazing what a goal does. And as I say, it might well have been the man who scored. I have to say it. That's one way to stop your manager making a change.
Fouled by Beckham on Davies. But that apprehension I was talking of amongst the Welsh 60,000 fans here actually turned out to be spot on, really, didn't it? Because England continued to make the chances. All right, they've had a little bit of luck as it flicked off Gabbidon. But the prevailing feeling here has been that if there was going to be a goal, it would be England's, and it would be sooner rather than later. It's come. Joe Cole will certainly get the credit for it. Here's Beckham, and Rooney picked out. Gerrard on the burst, back for Rooney. And with some of the pressure off now, England might well turn on the style. A lovely save by Danny Coyne as Rooney looked to chip him.
Well, he's looked to chip him because he knows he can't hammer it. Footballing brain is always working with Wayne Rooney's concerned. Never just takes the easy option to hammer it into the defender. He knows the only way he can score is by the little chip, the little dink, and comes so close to doing it. Good spring, so goalkeepers work at.
Beckham's corner is a deep one. Ferdinand leaning a bit on Hartson. They were teammates once upon a time at West Ham United when Rio learnt a little bit in training about the physical side of the game.
But it's been anything but that, the game today. There's hardly been a free kick to talk about.
It's been respectful, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Welsh lads know that England are a better team. And they haven't been just happy to say, OK, we'll go and try and kick them out of it. Much was made of their attempts were going to be to get Wayne Rooney sent off, to get him involved. It hasn't been like that. Of course, part of the reason when we're playing against Wayne Rooney is you better really get that close to him.
Well, England are in control here and now have a goal to show for it. Joe Cole had a chance just before half-time, fluffed a good position right at the start of the second half. Confidence up and a pass for Wright-Phillips, and Gerrard probably just distracted a little bit by Gabbidon's unsuccessful attempt to cut out the cross.
I think that affected him. I think if he'd have committed himself, you know, sometimes you always say in football, take a chance, assume that he's going to miss it, and then have your complete swing. He probably didn't do that. It's a little high, he's a little ahead of it. All of those little things would have contributed to make it more difficult than normal.
There goes Ashley Cole, then Robert Page. Carragher's header. Fletcher, Carragher. Ricketts, but England were pushing up. There was no chance of Hartson running in behind. Beckham. For Rooney, it might just fall for Joe Cole here. Rooney's up on his feet again, but in fact the flag is up.
Well, you just wonder what John Toshack's thinking about. This one is, well, that flag's gone up there, but it's gone for that. I'm not so sure whose head it actually was on that, but flag went up for Joe Cole being offside. But John Toshack's the one, obviously, who has a decision to make. He's got 3 centre-backs in there. They haven't created an awful lot in open play. And it's one of those decisions of the coach. Does he try and open it up a little for his team to get the equaliser and risk losing a second goal? Or would he, as Wales manager, take 1-0?
Giggs, who certainly would, try and find the head of Hartson. Koumas. Back with Page. Hartson again. So working his way back into Ferdinand.
Oh, that must be a corner, surely. That must be a corner. No wonder Ryan Giggs is furious. He slid in all right and looked young. But it looked to me like Luke Young just poked it past him and out for a corner. This is typical Hartson. Just didn't have enough support early enough. Go here. Absolutely not a touch from Ryan Giggs. And the linesman's what? 10, 15 yards away.
Well, maybe the Russians remember that playoff Euro 2004. It's probably as big an occasion as Wales have had in their recent international history, getting that close to the finals of a European Championship. As Russia got the better of them over 2 legs, fairly controversial 2 games as well. Now Koumas. He's plenty of confidence on the ball, and Wales are going to need that from their attacking players now. Taking on Beckham.
He's unlucky there.
Gabbidon. Rooney smoked the chance of dispossessing the Wales centre-back.
Oh, lucky boy there. That was just played in hope rather than expectation. David Partridge.
Page. Carragher saw it coming. Lampard takes over. Joe Cole. It's a sapping day for making those forward runs from midfield. Steven Gerrard, of course, was a fitness doubt for this game. He's missed a fair bit of training recently with a calf problem. Had to persuade his own club manager, let alone Sven-Göran Eriksson, that he was OK for a game that the England lads have been looking forward to since the fixture list was announced after the draw. Almost as much as Wales. This is a generation of players who know nothing about the home internationals except what they've heard from their dads. Davies.
He's offside. He's offside. Only just up. That was the right idea. Just couldn't get the ball. Davies under control quick enough. England just hold a line. Look at that. You see the cut of the grass. All three of them.
Half a stride.
But off, nonetheless.
And they're looking to that particular Welsh wizard more than ever now. England's target, a second goal to shore things up here. Avoid any late pressure. Carragher. Beckham. Not quite time for flicks and tricks. Hartson. Giggs was back on his heels, and I say again, he's short of match practice himself, Ryan Giggs.
I think part of the problem for Wales, as the attacker said, is they've never, I don't think on any occasion, been able to turn England's defence. Most of the games when played in front of Ferdinand and Carragher, very rarely have they had to be turning and running at their own goal.
They have got a wild card, if you like, Wales. Rob Earnshaw.
I know you were going to say, yeah. He has got pace and will run him behind.
Young. Wright-Phillips, who's certainly stayed much wider at the start of this half. Young.
He was probably told at half-time, listen, you're in the side to give us width. Don't be drifting infield and narrowing it even more. 3 people already in there.
That's one defender for another as Wales make their second change. The 31-year-old, 31 today, Robert Page, goes off. And he played 2 games last weekend. And James Collins, who's had no football this season because of a calf injury, moved from Cardiff to West Ham. Tall, brawny defender. Wales' young player of last year. Comes on for his 7th cap. So that was the option for Partridge. It's a bit different to playing for Bristol City.
It's been a big ask for Wales, absolutely no doubt. The inexperience, the level that a lot of the players play at week in, week out is a mile away, a chasm away from this sort of level that they've played in today.
And I think Sam Ricketts was given a free transfer by Oxford United and went into non-league football.
Jermain Defoe is just at the call back, so it looks like he will be coming on.
There's Ricketts. But it's only 1-0 and there's still 25 minutes to go. Wales need a bit of rallying, perhaps, from the mass ranks of their fans here in the Millennium Stadium. Ricketts is stopped by Young, who's played with a fair amount of composure. Perhaps not the most daunting fixture to come into to play your first international from the start, but
yeah, I think if you'd have looked at this, he's about to come on Jermain Defoe, and he'd have looked at this, looked Young, and thought, okay, so it doesn't look like Ryan Giggs are going to play left side, so I'm going to have a lot of space. I'm not really have anyone smack up against me. I should get a lot of the ball, not be tested too much defensively, and I think he's done all right. Look, Young, he's done what he does for Charlton week in, week out. He's been dependable, does it simple, nothing complicated about his games. Exactly what you want in the right back.
And he gets the ball there from Beckham, kicks it back to the England captain. Rooney coming deep, which leaves England distinctly short of someone to make a run in through the centre. Frank Lampard actually just seen the need to do that. Now he's checking back to get the ball to feet from Ashley Cole. They're not in a position, England, here, just to knock it around and take the Olays. Here's Giggs.
He's unlucky. He's looking, he's searching. As I said, though, there's very little ahead of the Welsh player, whoever he is on the ball, unless Giggs is ahead running behind. Changes are about to be made. This will be interesting. You see that.
Jermain Defoe, who seemed to be written into this team, not penciled in, but written in when he started against Denmark.
Well, that to me suggests that we might just see Wayne Rooney drop off the play.
Maybe Defoe carries a message for Rooney, which looks like
Right
go
side.
to the right, yeah. So it's Defoe through the middle, and here is the unpredictable but very lively Rob Earnshaw. Has to wait for his entrance.
I think you just might be, depending on what happens in the last 20 minutes of this game, be looking at depending on how strong a side Eriksson thinks he should play against the Northern Irish. This might well be the side he starts with, except Defoe, replaced by a certain Michael Owen.
Have a look at it now, can't he?
Yeah.
Here's Joe Cole. Rooney. Just tackle on Gerrard. Gone out by Koumas. On for Giggs. Surrounded by players in white shirts.
But it's a red one he needs.
Well, he ran it well enough to get the throw. When Rooney plays on the right, that's what he'd be expected to do. There's Simon Davies, who's had a lot of problems getting himself ready to play in this international with his ongoing shin difficulties. He dug in deep to play for the best part of 70 minutes. But no one has scored some more goals in this stadium than Robert Earnshaw. 8 in 10 appearances. And you tend to expect the unexpected with him. And this is Fletcher. Now Collins. So Collins on, Koumas on, Earnshaw on. That's the end of the switches from John Toshack's point of view. There goes Gabbidon. And Partridge has been played into trouble by James Collins. Lampard's cross, Collins delighted to be able to effect the clearance.
Well, it's just a matter of can Wales get the ball to Giggs, to Earnshaw. One either side of Hartson, you feel, will be the shout, the feed off him if possible, run in behind, change it a little.
Will maybe just get wide one more time and get a cross into Hartson. As they did, and so nearly took the lead in the first half. But Beckham. Koumas going in, and it was a challenge by Koumas that the Russian referee didn't like.
I can't see that myself. It was on one person didn't go for the ball there. That was David Beckham, I have to say. He was rather two-footed and clumsy in his attempt. Koumas just took the ball.
I think the absence of this fixture for 20 years, Andy, tells you how much the game has changed. You know, you remember home internationals you used to play in?
Yeah.
They were fiery battles. Strong physical content. Offside here.
Oh, that must have been a tight one, that.
Joe Cole limping. England play again on Wednesday in Belfast.
I noticed that.
Cole's played 6 internationals in a row now, having got the goal. Expect to be up for selection again if fit. That might be a significant if. And Michael Owen kitted up. but only because it's decent gear to wear on a warm afternoon when you sit that side of the Millennium Stadium.
Well, you've got to feel he's got to play. You know, after the week he's had, he must be bursting to get back on a football pitch again.
Koumas. Ricketts, and Young is there again. Sensible, efficient. It might have cost Charlton a few extra bob in the deal with Tottenham. And Luke Young was called up by England, first of all in May. Those 2 substitute appearances in the United States against the USA and Colombia. Earnshaw. Hartson couldn't get there. Giggs might here. Trying to hold him up, and Rooney. It's given England's way.
It's little decisions like that go against you when you're chasing a game. Or somebody just sticking a pin in you and deflating you a little. It's amazing. He spent a career making tackles like that, Ryan Giggs, sliding in, winning the ball more times than he should.
Koumas wanted a stride too long. Defoe trying to get it left to Cole. Here comes Collins. Duffy just had to check to stay onside. Collins tries to put him through, but willing though Richard Duffy is, he's up against one of the sprinters amongst international class fullbacks.
Well, James Collins, I mean, he had Ryan Giggs in a beautiful position, 25 yards, plumb in the middle of goal, an easy ball into him, didn't see it. But England have just got to be careful they don't get sloppy in the last 15 minutes of this game. Waited a while for the lead, got it, not a fortuitous, but got it. And the last thing Sven-Göran and Eriksson wants is a sloppiness to creep in.
He's shaking his head at referee Ivanov again. Lampard. Beckham again, no one near him. Orchestrates this latest England attack. Young, Rooney, now Joe Cole. Gerrard decides to cross. Defoe not dealing in a particularly easy situation against the tall Collins. Joe Cole, Gerrard, and Rooney. Defoe just looking for one into feet, but it goes to Lampard instead. And I guess England fans watching, Andy, are thinking, is this the shape of things to come tactically for Sven-Göran and Eriksson?
I think it's one thing to play it against Wales. It's another to play it against a really top international team. We shall see. Might be the system, will it be the personnel? That's his choice.
Well, this is Canadian-born Owen Hargreaves, who played for Wales at under-18 level, and nearly at under-21 level. Then they got the chance to play for England and said qualified for them as well. I think I'll take that choice. It'll be interesting to see whether the fans who know enough about Hargreaves' background to give him a not-so-warm welcome. Yeah, I think some of them do. He has a Welsh mother and an English father, Owen Hargreaves. He comes on with England leading via a Joe Cole goal, and it's Joe Cole who goes off.
Well, this is a goal. Lovely ball from Beckham and a lovely pass from Shaun Wright-Phillips, but from that, I think this has gone right down the goalkeeper's throat. Deflection off Gabbidon, hugely important.
He's just walked into that space, Joe Cole, hasn't he, to get the shot. Anyway, he comes off as the man that was in the right place at the right time, and Owen Hargreaves, who could have been playing for the other side in this match, plays against Wales here. Gerrard. Koumas. Earnshaw's hardly been involved yet, but can change things in a twinkle. Not that time. Just again, although the whole pitch is in shadow now, still very warm in the stadium, and it has been a determining factor in the way this game has been played, the pace of the action, or lack of pace.
Wales have had to work far harder in England. That I do know, I can tell you.
Rooney. Set up by Hargreaves to go again. There goes Collins. Efficiently done. But the game is not done here yet, nor are we done in terms of World Cup action, because Scotland v Italy hard on the heels of the final whistle here at the Millennium Stadium. And that, in turn, followed by Poland against Austria from the Wales-England group. And if England do get the 3 points here, it just puts a bit more pressure on Poland to regain the leadership of the section, which will pass to England if England see it through here. They've still got 12 minutes or so to go.
That must be a free kick.
Fletcher's gone to place the ball straight away. Beckham making sure the quick free kick isn't on. Whether he's risking a yellow card by doing so. Remember, one yellow card in the closing stages here, he would be not able to play against Northern Ireland. He's moved away now. Koumas and Giggs continue to do the planning. England have pulled everyone back.
Gotta hit this surely.
Really got within range, Wales, and this is a long way out. And here goes Koumas. It's never really threatening.
That was a decent effort, but no more than that. You see, it's always too high. Had enough bend in it, down the right line. But they've just brought Hargreaves on. John Toshack will know that to just supplement the front of the back four. There'll be a tad concerned, a little concerned with Eriksson that there are 3 players to deal with now in red shirts at the top end of the pitch with Earnshaw coming on. He's replied to that by bringing on Hargreaves just to help David Beckham.
Koumas. Earnshaw was trying to run in behind Ferdinand. It's a minority who are being heard here. 7,000 or so England fans. Rooney. Oh, Ashley Cole would have been in the green grass of the Welsh home there. But,
you're delving at your Ricketts collection again, aren't you, for titles like that?
Well, a few of those were played pre-kick-off here, weren't they? Ashley Cole.
Many thanks for your fantastic and continued support.
Fabulous crowd here in the stadium today, just short of 71,000.
Beckham. Gerrard. England for the most part. So many of the players have played big club matches on this ground. And they have looked pretty much at home.
Why wouldn't you want to play here?
Well, some of the Welsh players earlier in the week were saying to me, it's a bit like Wembley, really. It could be a disadvantage for Wales. It's great
I think you're right,
for the opposition.
Yeah, I think so.
Millennium Park was a bit cramped, wasn't it? Intimidating at times. There's a lovely new stadium in Swansea, by the way, as well. It's called the New Stadium at the moment. They'll come up with I think they're looking for a sponsor, by the way. Anyone listening, get in touch with the Football Association of Wales. This is Earnshaw and Ricketts. A reminder of how narrow it is on the scoreline, if not in the territory of the match. Sam Ricketts again. Earnshaw chasing, and he's nicked it in front of Paul Robinson. Rob Earnshaw, and then just run it out. But a little warning across the England bows there.
Well, there's plenty of attempts from England, as far as I can recollect. Only the one save for Paul Robinson from that fantastic header. And the man on the ball now, John Hartson.
Fletcher, Duffy crossing early. Wales lining up. Comes out to Ricketts. Keep it alive again. Giggs gets his head to it. Hartson setting himself for the volley. Great defending for England by Ashley Cole. Comes out to Duffy. Giggs going in. Earnshaw's there, and England almost for the first time in the afternoon under what you might loosely describe as sustained pressure. It's a back pass from Gabbidon that Danny Coyne worried, I think, for a second or two. He's played well after the horror of the Austria away game.
Yeah, goalkeeper's done everything he could. Absolutely no fault of his a goal. But it's a couple of anxious moments for England.
Now goes Earnshaw. Might be more to come. Despite Beckham's protests.
This one is a load up. This is a load forward. Looking for the big boys at the back.
With James Collins on, there's a bigger one than in the first half.
You just look for a good ball in. If you don't get a clean header, will it drop for you? Will it drop to one of your players?
England can't be smiling yet. Oh, and Hartson slightly misread the flight.
Just overhit as well, I think, Martin, in all honesty.
Well, Kieron Richardson, who exploded onto the international scene with that 2-goal debut against the USA in Chicago, can't get in the Manchester United team at the moment, but he's going to get some World Cup qualifying time here for his country. Steven Gerrard's lack of full match fitness and a previous calf injury probably recognised by the change.
Well, they could actually get the shape back now. I actually think the biggest problem they had in that little spell there when they brought Owen Hargreaves on is that no one knew quite what they were doing. There was no one here on the left-hand side. Rooney was wandering. Beckham going forward now. Can simply slip back in there, that position. Beckham can play as Gerrard, if you like. Hargreaves play as Beckham. The two wide players in place, and England will be open, normal service resumed.
Giggs. Koumas did well against Beckham. Young's got a sprint on here with Earnshaw. Scored a hat-trick against his club Charlton in the Premiership last season, so he'll know about the dangers of this fella. Throw not taken from the right place, so Ricketts to go again. Gets it back from Earnshaw. Turns Rooney, Sam Ricketts. Hartson, here's Giggs! Ferdinand stuck out of foot. Header out by Young.
Oh, that's how fine a 1-0 lead is. At any level, against anyone.
Koumas. Now Collins. Duffy, and Wales keeping the ball, and England just keeping numbers back. Young has a header to win. And Beckham a pass to make here. Rooney makes it possible. And away down the right-hand side to set up Van Nistelrooy late on at St James's Park last week. And here he is trying to set up Kieron Richardson. Just a little bit behind him. Duffy. Koumas has given it away to Hargreaves. And Wales were feeling that another break might have been on for them. As it is, Richardson crosses. And, it's Duffy tiring, who gives it away to Hargreaves, who's had a good start in the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. Bit of pressure though from Wales.
Yeah, a bit of scrambling. And this is what I talk about keeping the ball alive, keeping it in play. Lovely play, wide. And John Hartson manages to keep it in there, but how quickly Rio Ferdinand reacts to this. As this one drops, you've got to swing now, Ryan Giggs. He doesn't. Ferdinand does, and that's the important one.
And Ferdinand clears here, and it's a bit more than a clearance because it's found Defoe. He's drawn Gabbidon out of the middle. And England's attacking options have sharpened up again with the introduction of Kieron Richardson on the left.
And just keep the ball, just pass it, work it across the pitch.
Hargreaves. Don't want to lose it there though. And Earnshaw scrambling for it, and he's got it. Hartson can go left. Now Koumas. Ricketts is outside him. Koumas didn't even look, but Giggs has. Now trying to stop the cross.
And he took a touch in that, Martin. That was a perfect ball from Giggs to him, and he didn't even need to take a touch in it. He should have just been playing it first time, Sam Ricketts. Gave Luke Young a chance to close him by taking the touch.
It's almost as if John Toshack has said, well, look, we'll hang on in there until the last 10 minutes or so, keep it within range the game, and then really have a go. And here they are, with Ferdinand needed again for England, and Wales have a corner.
That's a super ball from Jason Koumas. Well, these are moments that England shouldn't be enduring. And with so much possession in the game, should be comfortable. It will just look a bit edgy, and Wales are just having a go. Nothing to lose now.
What a blow it would be to England if Wales were to equalise here, but what a lift it would be for Ryan Giggs and his players. John Toshack set them out for a tactical battle here, and goes Collins! He wasn't the only one. That was Partridge, I think, as well.
Yeah, that must have been close. I tell you, it was a beautiful delivery, right in the middle of goal, 6-yard line dropping. I wanted a better one to attack. That's how close it was. Just wonder if we got in each other's way there.
To say they might have done, and there's a waste from a very tired Carl Fletcher, and one should understand that. He's been chasing and closing down and not been playing for West Ham. John Toshack's team really giving it a go in the closing stages, having spent much of the match doing their best to frustrate England. And then they themselves were frustrated by a deflection off Danny Gabbidon that took a Joe Cole shot past Danny Coyne. But it is all about winning, and whatever the critics, who seem to be sharpening their knives for Sven-Göran Eriksson, whatever they think about the general level of performance, I can't say too much if the 3 more points are chalked up against England's name.
I couldn't agree more about qualifying. The object of that is quite simply the word that you've used, qualifying. That job done then, the tournament is always quite a few months ahead of you, or quite a few years in this case. And you get there, and then you decide whether you're going to win it or whether you can win it.
But here's Giggs. They haven't won this match yet. Carragher heads away. Lampard gives it straight back to Giggs. Beckham bustles his way forward. Never going to be the tough tackling David Beckham in that position, but he'll try and do the job his way. And certainly if opponents allow him to settle on the ball, he'll hurt them with the calibre of his passing. Defoe told to get on with it. It's not a free kick for England. 3 added minutes, that's what the crowd are responding to. Ferdinand. And then this time it is Koumas going in a little untidily on Lampard, and England happy to take their time over the free kick.
Well, I'm sure the press and people will dissect this performance. 4-5-1 as it was, is it the future? Will England see Beckham, Gerrard and Lampard play like this again? I would say possibly. Has it been a huge success? Far from it.
But if you look way back into the record books at the history of the home internationals, England have had some great teams in the past who have struggled against fellow British nations.
Well, at the risk of upsetting a few players out there, I think the Welsh teams of the past might have been slightly better and more of a players' quality. Certainly Scotland were a bit like that as well.
Well, more of them would have been playing at the higher level of English football, simply because there were no foreigners in the old First Division then. Well, they were the foreigners, like you were. But we were very pleased to see you come south.
So was I.
Some of us even remember shouting grey goal. It does date one rather these days. Here's Hargreaves. And here's Rooney. Partridge in the way. We're into the final minute here in the Millennium Stadium. And it's run towards Earnshaw, but Ferdinand at least held Wales up for a moment, but he didn't deal with it. He's just stuck an arm out at Earnshaw as well. Only to block his run, not to throw a blow at him. He smacked a little bit of desperation. There's a very good climb by Carragher, not once but twice. And there are only seconds to go now, and it's Defoe and Rooney. And plenty of players representing England around Frank Lampard.
No, job done. England will feel it quite rightly.
Maybe one last chance for Wales.
Oh, it's down and hammer it, I'm afraid. Oh dear. Not so sure if you take the pass there. That's more like you would be doing.
It's got to be one for Hartson to fight for. Collins is forward as well. It drops for Koumas. Has to go back, but that's it. England have won. The bottom line here is they move another step towards the World Cup finals. It hasn't been particularly pretty. It took a deflection off Gabbidon. Joe Cole's goal. And in terms of a result, I guess expected. Whether it was the expected response after the Denmark debacle, possibly not so. Wayne Rooney's not happy at the end of this one as well, as he certainly wasn't in Copenhagen. But in some ways it was difficult for England, overwhelming favourites, and John Toshack using this as a step to develop his side, trying to frustrate Eriksson's men. Beckham's had his game in the central midfield. Whether he'll stay there, well, we'll find out on Wednesday as England head off to Belfast. Wales go to Poland with all the good wishes of the English fans as well. Poland play later tonight, of course, against Austria. You can see that with us after the Scotland-Italy game coming up. And England are back on top of the group for the moment. Wales 0, England 1.
It is Group 6, of course, where Northern Ireland today have beaten Azerbaijan by 2-0. Stuart Elliott and Warren Feeney with a penalty late on. So England top the group, 1 point clear now of Poland, who, as Martin was saying, do play later against Austria. Northern Ireland now take 4th, and it's Wales and Azerbaijan bringing up the rear. This is the first of a sequence of international matches over the next 3-4 days. Later today, 5:15, Scotland play Italy. We've told you that once or twice. And after that, 7:30, it's Poland against Austria. Then attention turns to the midweek games. Tuesday at 7, Sky Sports 1. England's under-21s go to Germany. At 7:30 on 3 Tuesday night, it's the Republic of Ireland against France, again at under-21 level. Wednesday at 7 on 1. It's the turn of the senior team in the Republic. They meet France. And at 7 on Sky Sports 2, it's Poland against Wales. Chris Coleman and Jamie Redknapp, our guests. We'll get their thoughts when we come back on a win for England, but a very, very slender win. 3 points nonetheless. All the reaction comes next.
First of all, can you sum up the importance of the win and then the performance?
The importance of the win is enormously, of course. We have one more win, 3 more points, and if we go on like this, we will win the group. Now we have 3 games to go, and I hope that we can win on Wednesday to start with. So I hope that we in October are qualified for the World Cup. That's our target.
And what did you think of the performance?
It was up and down. I think first half we did well. Maybe we should have scored a couple of goals first half. Then second half should have been easier. At the end of the match today we suffered. A lot of long balls coming into close to our box in our box. But suffering in football is good if you have the right attitude, and we had that today.
Did you see enough for you to persist with this new formation?
Yes, sometimes I think so. We can use it, and during long periods we played okay and created occasions. We knew that it would be a difficult game here, and of course Wales did very well. They fighted on every ball, but important was to win.
Because you won, are you likely to stick with the same team on Wednesday against Northern Ireland?
Well, I don't know that. We'll see. We will decide that Monday, Tuesday. But the boys did very well, and they fighted 90 minutes, and they got the right result.
Thanks, Sven. Well done.
Thank you.
Do you think he'll use that system on Wednesday night?
I'm not sure. I mean, this isn't. The other thing is, this isn't a new system all of a sudden that Sven-Göran and Eriksson has devised. This system has been used by Chelsea. Manchester United play something very similar now. Fulham. Fulham. They've had great success from it, and so. I feel that he will stick with it. I think there'll be a change, and I think he's made that change already today by bringing off Shaun Wright-Phillips with 25 minutes to go. It sows a seed in his mind, and it's just like the chances are you won't be playing. Wayne Rooney will probably move out to the right, and then Michael Owen will come in where Wayne Rooney
Could England play this system against the really best teams in the world with David Beckham sitting where he was?
I think they can. I think with David Beckham today, he had plenty of possession, he had plenty of the ball, and when you give him time, he can execute passes like he did for the goal, and he can almost decide matches on that passing ability that he's got. The problem you're going to have is when you get the likes of you play like against Argentina and have a player playing off like a Riquelme that's going to cause problems off of the front man. Then he has to think defensively. Like I have now got a job to do. My job isn't just when we get the ball to spray 50-yard passes. My job is to where is danger, sense danger, like McAlady does at Chelsea. He does it incredibly well, and that will be then the test for David Beckham, that he has to deal with situations like that.
That's right. I think so. Against Wales, and all respects to us, England were always fancied against us. I think even against the likes of Poland, me personally, I wouldn't play Decker. I like that formation, the guy holding, he can start a lot of attacks, break it up. But David's a forward-thinking player. He's obviously a fantastic passer of the ball. Defensively, in front of the two centre-backs, that's a very important role. McAlady is probably one of the best in the world, I think, at it. Defensively, I don't think David Beckham, against a very good team, I think that'll cause England problems.
But what about the system? If it wasn't Beckham, what about a Scott Parker perhaps in there?
Yeah, Scott Parker for me would be ideal. I think he's an excellent player. In that holding role, I think he'd be the pick of the bunch for me, my personal choice. If I was going to play that system with the English players available, I would have Scott Parker holding, certainly.
John Toshack is with Brynlaw.
Well, John, would you have taken a narrow defeat at the start of the afternoon?
No, a defeat is a defeat. No, we wouldn't have accepted that, no, at the start.
What was your assessment then of what happened?
Well, I thought the game went pretty much how we expected, particularly the first half. England had a lot of possession, which you would expect, but I think probably only two real moments of excitement, chances. One for Rooney, where he got through in the box, and Danny Coyne made an excellent save, and then a John Hartson header where Robinson probably made the save of the match as well. Apart from that, although we would admit to having conceded a bit of possession to England, we came in 0-0 at half-time. Conceded early in the second half, was something we didn't want to do, obviously. And then we stuck to the plan that we had and sort of tried to open up the last 20 minutes. We finished the game quite strongly, to be honest, but we just couldn't... we couldn't get on the end of anything in the last third there, and they are a quality side, of course they are. I thought we worked hard, but maybe at times our passing let us down a little bit, particularly in their half of the field.
He's not going to take a defeat at the start of the afternoon, is he? But a draw would have done Wales, would it? I think a draw would have been a big positive, a big plus for us. We didn't get it. It wasn't for the want of trying, we worked very hard. The only criticism was, I think, that we didn't ask enough questions when we run out of steam a little bit in the second half. But no, I didn't expect John to be happy with the defeat, because he's right, a defeat's a defeat, and especially we're in the capital and we played against England, so we're a bit disappointed. What should be the expectation for Wales on the world stage? What are they capable of, or what should they be capable of? Well, we obviously haven't got a lot of players to choose from. We haven't got that many players playing in the top league. We've got to be realistic, as simple as that. We've just got to finish as high as we can.
I think we've got to go right back to the 9s and the 10s, work on them guys, and we've got to have a better structure, I think. And I think that's what John's trying to do, have a better infrastructure. And like well, look at the way France did it, look at the way Spain do it with the younger guys. Copy that, because it works for them and it can work for us. Now, we haven't, like I say, we haven't got the numbers to choose from. Concentrate on the ones we've got, and then, you know, because it goes in cycles. I think, you know, John's trying to build a team again, and that's going to take time. He's asked for time, and he's going to get it, hopefully. And there's no reason why we can't do a little bit better and finish a bit higher than where we are at the minute. We're second from bottom. We don't want to finish there. You know, we've got to be looking to finish above Northern Ireland, which will be tough now because they won today. But, you know, it's got to be one step at a time. Don't ask for too much. We've got to be realistic, and I think we've got to build from the bottom up.
Sven-Göran Eriksson said 9 points from the next 3 games. That's the first 3. Would you expect them to win again on Wednesday?
Oh, for sure, yeah. It'd be a tough game, but no, I'm pretty sure that we'll get the 3 points against Northern Ireland. The big game obviously going to be at Poland at home. That's a huge game for us. I feel that the quality we have, it's been said before, we have so much